Hey everybody, Mrs. Nichols here. I'm going to be going through the answers to your practice worksheet that you needed to complete for today. And so we do have a quiz on Friday, and so I just wanted to make sure everyone was feeling really good about all these different terms and then how to calculate different measurements that we take for waves. You should be watching this video only if you have practiced and you have tried the problems that were assigned for today. If you haven't, I want you to give it a try. See if you can do it before you start watching the answers. Okay. It'll definitely help you in the long run. Alrighty, so I'm going to be drawing on the screen, kind of going through all of this. So obviously this first page was a really nice review of the definitions of how to find each of the different measurements. So you're going to be looking for the wavelength, the amplitude, and the frequency for each of these problems. All right, so let's start with number one. And so it tells you that the grid lines are 1 centimeter apart. So obviously you didn't need a ruler. All you needed to do was count the boxes. Okay, so for number one, letter A, so we needed to figure out the wavelength. And so this first problem already was a little tricky because what we're really only seeing here is one wave. We are not seeing multiple waves. And so if you remember on the front of this paper, it said that you needed to measure from one crest to crest or from one trough to trough. Now, in this case, we don't have a full crest to crest. We don't have a full trough to trough. So you're going to need to find one point and be able to measure it to the next same point. And so I'm going to start with this one right here. And then I know that the next same point is going to be all the way on the other end. And so this is one full wavelength. And so then all I need to do is count. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. So my wavelength for number one is 12 centimeters. Okay, the amplitude is the wave height. And so this is relatively easy. So you're going to find the crest, and I'm going to put a little dot there, and then I'm going to count how many boxes until I reach that x-axis. And so I see that I have 2 boxes, so that's going to be an amplitude of 2 centimeters. Okay, and then the frequency is going to be the number of waves that occur in 1 second. And so what we're seeing here is just one wave occurring. And so it's going to be a frequency of 1 hertz. Okay, that's number one. Number two, so we're going to do the same thing. And so I'm going to be measuring from crest to crest here for my wavelength. So as a crest, that's a crest. And so I'm going to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that'll be my wavelength. Okay, my amplitude, I'm going to choose this one right here. If we kind of look at this, it's not a full 2. And so I'm going to say that the amplitude is 1.5 centimeters. Okay, and then I'm going to look to see how many waves occur in this time. And so if I'm looking, I'm going to see 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, it's number 2. So let's keep going. So number 3, a wavelength. So we're going to go from crest to crest. And so if I'm looking at that, I'm going to estimate that it's approximately 2 centimeters. Okay, when you add kind of that little half and that little half, okay, somewhere around 2 centimeters. Okay, the amplitude. So once again, I'm going to find a crest, and I'm going to draw a line down, and I'm going to say that's approximately 2 centimeters. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and count how many waves occurred in this time frame. And so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it'll be 7 hertz. Okay. All right. wave 4. So this one's a little bit of a trickier one. Okay. So I'm going to be looking for my peak. And then I'm going to count the number of boxes. 8. Is that what you got? Okay, so 8 centimeters. Okay, my amplitude. Okay, and so this is not a complete, it's a little bit bigger than 2. So I'm going to say it's 2.25 for 2 1/4. And then frequencies. Now, how many full waves do we get? So if I look here, I get 1 and then I get 2. So 2 hertz. All right, let's go on to the next page. So hopefully this is making sense. If not, please reach out to me or Mr. Hoft as soon as you can so we can work on helping you. So I'm on wave 5 looking for the wavelength. So I'm going to draw my line to the next peak. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and count and see how many full boxes I have. So I have a half, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, and 6. So 6 centimeters. Okay. The amplitude. Okay, it's definitely more than 1, but not 2. So I'm going to say it's 1.5. Okay, and then the frequency. So how many full waves do we have? Let's see here. So I've got 1, and then I've got 2. So 2 hertz. All right, wave 6. So we are looking at the wavelength. So this is another one of those kind of bigger waves. Okay, and so I'm going to be picking my origin on both sides because we've got a crest and then just a trough. And so I'm going to draw my line, and so I'm going to count. It'll be 16 centimeters in wavelength. Okay, the amplitude, I'm going to find that highest crest. So that's going to be 2. And then how many full waves do we get for this question? And if you said 1, you would be correct. All right, moving on, number 7. Okay, so for number 7, okay, I'm going to count and see it from my crest to my crest. And so 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 centimeters. Okay, amplitude. Hopefully, I don't know, for me, amplitude is super duper easy. And then frequency. So how many of these do we get? So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we get a little extra credit. So 4.5 hertz. Okay. And then we're on our last one. So here we go. So I'm looking at my peak. And I'm finding my next peak. So it's going to be right around here. I'm going to count. So 12 centimeters. Okay. My amplitude is just 1. And then I'm looking for my frequency. So how many full waves do I get? So I get my first full wave right here. And then I get an extra half. So that's going to be 1.5 hertz. All right, you guys. So that is it. So that was the homework practice that you needed to complete. All right. So hopefully that helped clear anything up that you were wondering about. If you're still wondering, please reach out, let me know, or Mr. Hoft know. And We are going to do a cool, fun review on Kahoot on Thursday. Okay, put your kind of skills to the test, see how you're doing, and getting yourself ready for that quiz on Friday. All right, guys. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thanks for tuning in. See ya.